Well, first of all, let me say something about balancing hormones. And everybody's got their own unique balance. So like what you were saying is, I might say, men really like to compete. Okay. They like sports and they like to compete. Now, not all men are that way, but competition is going to produce testosterone. And women need testosterone. It's just too much competition will be, if it's too much and she's not balanced by cooperation and nurturing and harmony and being at ease and comfortable. The opposite of, I got to work hard here, I'm going to win, I'm going to do it. I mean, think about what competition is. It's, I want to win and you lose. I want to beat you. And a lot of people say, oh, we should never feel competitive. Of course we should, but we should put it in a context which works for everybody. And that would be the win-win situation, which is, I want to get what I deserve and I'm going to do my very best to get it. That's a more elevated version, but I'm always competing with myself. And that competition does stimulate, whatever form it is, it's going to stimulate testosterone. And nothing wrong with women doing that, except you see what happens for women that spend a lot of time competing in sports is that they lose their fat. They're more muscular and they can't generate fat, produces estrogen. They can't make enough estrogen to get pregnant. You need your estrogen levels to double normal levels to become pregnant. That's the ovulation time. Now, if it doesn't double, you can't get pregnant. And when it starts to double, that's where you feel romantic. So when women have higher estrogen, when it starts to double, that's when they're putting out a pheromone that makes men very interested in her, and it awakens a man's attraction to her. And when men are producing a lot of testosterone, he puts out a smell, a pheromone that awakens a woman and raises her estrogen. Hence, you see the movie where the guy, risks his life and saves the woman in distress. I need help. And he provides the help. Boom, they have great sex afterwards. They have huge chemistry. It may not last, but they generated it in that moment. And so what I'm trying to teach people is how to sustain polarity in a relationship where we're authentic. And if a woman, if a woman is authentic and in balance, she's going to have higher estrogen than testosterone. She's going to have higher progesterone than testosterone. And if a man is in balance, he will always have higher testosterone than both those female hormones. So this is our authentic self. Now, I love that you talked about polarity. You probably do it the same way I do, is that everyone knows in the beginning of a relationship, there's like this excitement, there's this thrill, and then it goes away. And the reason it goes away is we don't have polarity. It doesn't have to go away if you have polarity. So the newness, novel experiences produces dopamine, and dopamine then creates estrogen in women and testosterone in men, and you feel all this chemistry. But as soon as the newness goes away, familiarity sets in. Now, newness is dopamine, serotonin is familiarity. You know what to expect. You feel comfortable, you feel at ease, you can start taking off your clothes, you don't have to protect yourself so much, so you feel safe. And you know what to expect. And we all want that. I feel so comfortable. I come home and I'm a hero every time. I just want to say to women, wouldn't you love to come home and just feel so safe that you could express yourself? That expressing yourself and feeling heard produces estrogen, lowers your stress. On the other side of this, if you're a man, you come home to somebody who's happy to see you with no intention to change you. What a heavenly life that is. And this is what's possible once we learn to balance our hormones inside. Because when we are producing stress hormones, our brain, we go into another part of the brain that says, look at what's wrong that has to change. Look at what's wrong that has to change. The other side of that is when you're not stressed, you can look at what's good and be grateful for it. And how can I make it better from a positive feeling, as opposed to be happy, it has to change. And relationships can trigger these hormones so easily. I mean, I can just have a successful day and feel on top of the world, come home, my wife's disapproving of me, you forgot to call me, you left your shoes out, your socks are on the floor, how could you forget? The dishes were so dirty, you can't even clean them. Any of that stuff, Superman just crashes down, okay? Just like the testosterone goes down. And a woman, all day long, she's busy on her male side, she wants to come home and say, oh, I was awful today. You know what? So-and-so said this and so-and-so said this, and they didn't even do that. He says, well, you got to buck up, honey. That's the work world. Or he says, we shouldn't get upset about that stuff. That's just the way it is. You got to accept it the way it is. Then after a while, she won't talk. and she doesn't talk, she doesn't get to learn. By sharing deeper levels of myself and my emotions, I can actually neutralize my stress without having to change the outer world. See, this is the mastery of life, is if I'm stressed, how can I remove the stress without having to change anything in my external world? I can ask for help, but if I'm not getting it, I know how to do it for myself. And that's feeling independent along with feeling dependent.
If you've enjoyed this clip and want to listen to the full episode, go to the Love Lab podcast episode 156, How to Cope with Stress in Relationship.